Welcome to Two Left Fielders. I'm your host, Harry Kassal, and with me, the human grocery store.
G-Mart, also known as Garrett Martin.
What up, G-Mart?
What's up, my man? You doing all right?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Living the dream.
I'm joining you here from sunny Gainesville, Florida.
I'm tuned in here from Louisville, Kentucky.
Quick shout out to our executive producer, Jose Abdon Santos Leon Jr. for getting us together. What up, Jose? Brr, 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 brr.
Out of Miami, Florida, and we're going to give a special shout out to his father, Jose Abdon Santos, Jose Abdon Leon Santos Sr., affectionately known as Senior.
Yeah, we don't know where the Leon goes. All right. We are two left fielders. We have ideas straight out of left fields. Thank you so much for joining us on the first episode. And our first idea is Fergie should sing everything. Everything. I want more than the national anthem. I want, like, the Super Bowl halftime show. She should drop a song with Kendrick. Like, she should do everything.
The inaugurations, any big event. Fergie really showed out. She went a little bit outside the box. Some could say her performance at the All-Star game was a little bit out of left field.
Just a little.
It was pretty lewd, but I really enjoyed it. What did you think of it, Harry?
I think some of the best performances of all time that we've seen of the national anthem are a little weird. Like Jimi Hendrix. He did it on the guitar, and that's a little weird, and it was awesome. Everyone's clowning Fergie. Chance is laughing in the front row. I give it up to Fergie.
This is America. Everything in America is done outside the box. Heck, I think next we'll probably need to get Kanye out there freestyling a national anthem, add in a few words of his own. This reminds me a little bit of the Aretha Franklin's national anthem she sang on Thanksgiving last year that went almost 6 minutes. So this isn't the first time we've seen a left field performance.
Over on that.
It was a while. Aretha carried on, but the anthem is meant for interpretation at times. I think people were getting a little carried away. Fergie was trying to do something different. I'm not hating on it.
Do you think the other Black Eyed Peas were happy? They were like, this is what happens when you go solo. Like Will.i.am and the other ones.
The other gentlemen. I'm not really sure the other ones' names either, but I know they were probably getting a good chuckle out of Fergie's rendition. That's for sure.
All right, other ideas that G and I have to fix the All-Star game besides having Fergie do everything is I like when normal people get involved. Like, I like when some of the events aren't just the athletes. Like Kevin Hart one year, he shot from the three-point line in the three-point contest, and just saying he did better than Paul George did this year. But I'd love to see him do, the skills challenge and the dunk contest, maybe get him a trampoline, and maybe every year have a new Kevin Hart. Like Drake will do it one year, and they could do it like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I do too. Kevin Hardy's become a bit of a staple of All-Star Weekend. He was 3-time Celebrity Game MVP. I want to shout out this year's Celebrity Game MVP, Quavo. He went out there and balled. I know that he was really looking forward to it. Quavo Honcho playing for the LA Clippers team. I think aside from the Celebrity Game where there's normally all kinds of laughs, I think
also, shout out to Katie Nolan. You coached a great game, Katie.
Yes, I think the Quavo, he knocked her over too, didn't he, whenever he swatted her shot? I think he did. Yeah, it was a little lewd, but, that's how Quavo rolls. He's not too worried about it. But, I think All-Star Game weekend, I think they really got the ball rolling with this players picking draft. They had LeBron versus Team Steph. I think definitely next year it needs to be televised, the draft, because we all know that even though our man Al Horford, Harry's buddy from down there at the University of Florida, he was the last pick, I think it would have been fun to see players like Kevin Love getting a little antsy on the bench. This is definitely something that people want to see. So I think, All-Star Game weekend's got some changes that they've made, but there's definitely more to come.
Absolutely. And, as you said, I'd love if the draft was televised. I want to see a big man three-point shootout. Like, I don't want to see Klay Thompson and Devin Booker shoot threes. I know Klay Thompson and Devin Booker can shoot threes. I want, 5 Dwight Howards out there.
Even furthermore than that, I think we might even have a free throw contest between, Andre Drummond, Hassan Whiteside. I want these guys who are shooting under 50, 60%.
Hassan picked his three-point or his free throw percentage up.
He's brought it up. He's on his way, but I think we got to get a free throw contest between some of these guys who are, lesser known for their shooting ability. They're getting hacked with 8-9 minutes left in the game to get the other team an advantage. I think the people would love to see a miserable free throw shooting contest. I think that's something that people would enjoy.
Exactly. And, of course, this one goes without saying, DeMarcus Cousins should have reffed the All-Star game.
Yes, DeMarcus, and I think the other one needs to be Draymond. A couple of guys leading the league in techs. That would be really high interest.
Most technical fouls, exactly.
Yes. I think that would be really high interest. I think things could get out of hand. We might have another Malice at the Palace breakout in the game, but this is an entertainment business. Nonetheless, I think the people would enjoy it.
I'd also, of course, Jimmy Butler, you shouldn't be able to skip the game. I know that that's not really like a critique about, like it's not a change, but come on, Jimmy Butler, oh, I went out the night before and I'm a little hungover. You should have to play hungover.
Yeah, come on, Jimmy, and then it didn't really serve you too well. Here you are a few days later tearing your meniscus out for the season, so... I mean, it might be a little bit of karma. I mean, we're just kidding, Jimmy. We wish you the best, but come on, you got to be playing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's out Jimmy Butler.
But come on, you can't be sitting out the All-Star game. The fans voted you in, and plus,
I'm out on that one. I'm out. That, of course, is courtesy of Tidal. Couldn't have said that better myself. Thank you, Mr. Z.
We don't want to have any copyright issues. We don't want Harry getting served from Jay-Z's lawyers out there in Florida, so we want to make sure we're clear on that. In other news in the NBA, I know quite a few people were drawn to the story involving LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and one lesser-known Laura Ingraham, as LeBron said whenever she commented on
I'm glad you were the one that told me it was Laura Ingraham, because when someone told me like a white lady said something racist on Fox, I just figured it was Tommy Loren. So like I'm glad it wasn't her. They have more racist white people over there.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Tommy Loren. I want to give a shout out to our buddy Michael Rappaport. She's actually affectionately known as Chicken Head Tommy Loren, but that's beside the point. I digress.
Michael Rappaport is now known as unemployed, so that's fine.
He is. I digress. So here we got Kevin Durant, LeBron James. They were on the uninterrupted riding in an Uber with Carrie Champion. LeBron was quoted as saying this.
LeBron, you called the president a bum.
Yeah, straight up.
He called the president a bum. He would later go on to say President Trump doesn't give an expletive about the people. Anytime there would be a curse word, we'll say expletive on the show. We want to keep it family friendly. We don't want to upset some of our younger or older audience. So there's that. But
I don't give an expletive about them.
I don't give an expletive about them either. But it's all right. Here we go. Moving on. I think it's safe to say that KD and LeBron are far more than basketball players. Between the two of them, they have over 57 million followers. They've both put their money where their mouth is. Kevin Durant donated this past week $10 million to a school, helping lesser educated children have better opportunities. LeBron James donated over $41 million of his own money to his I Promise Foundation with the University of Akron, sending each kid who completes high school to college for free. So, I mean, it's a joke that she would tell them to shut up and dribble. At this point in time, those two have far more influence than Laura Ingraham could ever imagine of having it. Until this scandal, as Harry said, no one even knew who Laura Ingraham was. So I think she should just shut up and be a news anchor. That's what I'm thinking.
Ooh, that was good.
Burn.
I like how LeBron said it, but I think Kanye said it better. This, of course, is courtesy of the NBC concert for hurricane relief.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Thank you, Yeezus.
Come on, Yeezus. Yeezus speaks the truth.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Z. We out here. That was like Watch the Throne.
For real. We're really setting the
someone
tip
on Reddit this week, he was in jail for the last 4 years, and he could not believe how good Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors have gotten. Because if you go back 4 years ago, Derrick Rose was one of the best players. Dwight Howard were great players. They were on top of the league, and now Dwight Howard, he's shuffled around. No one really knows where he is anymore, and Derrick Rose isn't even on a roster. So I thought it would be fun for the two of us to pick, something that would just bold predictions for the next 4 years. You got one? I got one. Let's start with mine. I think Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics is going to be an all-star. He's 19, a little inconsistent, but on the days he brings it, he looks really good. So I think if he can stay healthy, he's a bona fide all-star.
No doubt. Jason Tatum's a baller. I'm going to go on the other end of the spectrum. You're looking at the youth. I'm going to go with OG Vinsanity, Vince Carter. He's still in the league at age 40. I'm going to go out there and say Vince will still be playing at age 44. Down the line, he might be a role player, might have a walker, but he's still going to be busting threes from the corner. I think Vince will still be around.
That's so funny, because when you brought up Vince Carter, immediately I was like, oh, he's got him coaching. And then he's still in the league.
No, Vince is going to be out there, and hell, we might even have Jason Kidd come back into playing, but I digress. That's a little ridiculous of me to say.
How quick did that get old? All right, through the last 6 games, Colin Kaepernick, who's no longer in the league, and Jimmy Garoppolo, who is now the highest paid player of all time, have similar touchdown to pick ratios. Here, I'll read them for you. Their completion percentage is 67.4 for Jimmy, and then 65.1 for Kaepernick. Garoppolo has 200 more total yards, has thrown 2 less interceptions and 2 less touchdowns and 3 more interceptions, and their passer rating is exactly the same. Now, Jimmy G has Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Hawks that brought them to the Super Bowl, and Colin Kaepernick did similar numbers without him. How is this man not on a team right now? How can you even say, oh, he's not being blackballed? Of course he's being blackballed. Case Keenum is about to sign a contract north of $60 million, and Colin Kaepernick isn't on a team anymore.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's become clear that Kaepernick's being blackballed. He's taken a team to the Super Bowl. I mean, we all remember when he bust onto the scene. He took Alex Smith's starting job in San Francisco. Jim Harbaugh really believed in Colin. Since he's been out of the league this past year, there have been 40 lesser-known, lesser-capable quarterbacks who have been signed. Kaepernick took a stand, or rather, he took a knee against racial injustice and police brutality in this country. He stood up from the beginning, made clear what his cause was about. For people to say that he's disrespecting the military and things of that nature, that can certainly be understood. But from the beginning, Kaepernick, it made it clear that he does not intend to disrespect any military members. In fact, he has family members who are military veterans, and he has the utmost respect. In fact, he is just looking to use his platform to promote a higher cause, much like Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell did in previous generations.
Exactly, and I think it's strange that LeBron James gets commended for doing the same things that keeps Colin Kaepernick out of the sport of football.
Certainly. I mean, I think it goes to a point where also the NBA, it's a bit different than the NFL. The NBA is definitely a higher percentage of black athletes. There's less players. There's 12 players on a team as opposed to 53. And the primary fan base of the NBA is going to be more liberal. I mean, you look at the NFL, the fan base is going to be a lot more right-wing, conservative-type fans. It's a much older sport, whereas, not to mention, look at the commissioners. Commissioner Adam Silver, I mean, he's a GOAT. He's looking
He's trying to get gambling.
Yeah, he wants to get gambling. He wants me to be able to go in there and bet on every free throw Andre Drummond's going to miss. I got love for my man Adam Silver. He's a great commissioner, but I think there's a lot of factors we could get into on this, but I think it's become clear that Colin Kaepernick's being blackballed by the NFL.
Another big story this week was that all these schools that are under investigation by the FBI, this is particularly close to you as being a Louisville alum. You want to take this one?
Oh, this one hit close to home. This past summer, my friends and I, we pick up this kid, Brian Bone. We're like, oh my gosh, Louisville's going to win another national championship. A few months later, it comes out the first initial FBI report. They got Rick Pitino named as coach 2. He was the first chip to fall. Here in the last week, there's been another seismic report. Coach Sean Miller out of Arizona, he was quoted as requesting $100K be funneled to prize 5-star recruit DeAndre Ayton to come play for Arizona this fall. Miller has since stepped away from the team, but Ayton continued to play. On this list of players that was named in this latest FBI report, Dennis Smith Jr., who recently played in the slam dunk contest. He was paid $73,000. Bam out of buyout from Kentucky. He got $36,000. Diamond Stone out of Maryland got $14,000. But as I go down the list, I get down to the bottom of the list. I see Josh Jackson. He got paid $2,700. And my first thought is, Josh Jackson, you need a new agent. Give me a break.
Wow, Jackson, come on, man.
We got other
guys.
You're
a lottery pick. How is Diamond Stone getting paid more than you?
What is that? You got everybody else getting tens of thousands. You settled for a new set of tires on your mom's truck. I mean, what is that?
And this is also, it's already affecting some universities, whereas Shaquille O'Neal's son, I believe, Sharif O'Neal, is decommitted from Arizona following these allegations. And it's terrible, but I kind of feel like every good organization is doing something.
I mean, it is. And I think, you know what, I'm going to check in on Dickie.
Do a deep enough dive into any, or like, look at Alabama in football. Like, of course something is going on.
No doubt. I mean, it's been going on in college basketball for a long time. Why don't we check in with our buddy Dick Vitale? Here's a quote from Dick against when Indiana hit a buzzer beater against Kentucky. I think it largely represents how he feels now about what's going on in college basketball. I don't really have any other reason for one to play that quote. I love Dickie V. His passion for the sport is special. And if you follow Dickie V on Twitter, you can see that he's absolutely torn up over all these allegations that have really flipped college basketball upside down. I mean, it's at every big program across the country. I mean, the G League is definitely developing in the NBA, but I think it's time that, they need to take a look at ending the one-and-done rule. I mean, as the wisdom of Lonzo Ball said this past week, everybody's getting paid in college basketball, and, everybody except Josh Jackson, of course. He's only got $2,700. But other than that, I mean, it's become clear that college basketball is time for change.
I don't think that the one-and-done rule needs to necessarily go away, but I definitely think that you should pay some of these athletes. No, because if they don't go to college, you're going to see more and more athletes like Emmanuel Mudiay, who spent a year playing overseas in China. And of course, there are scouts in China, as you can see, because he went early in the draft and he looks kind of good. He just got traded, but he looks okay in the NBA, and it's not a hindrance. And you're overseas and you're still getting paid. So I think that they should pay the college athletes, because I believe the NCAA tournament brings in over $1 billion. I mean, and you got Miles Bridges giving back $40 to avoid an infringement rule. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, to say the least.
Olympics? We should talk about the Olympics, right? That's going
Olympics, on? The Winter Olympics. They just ended. They weren't really too outside of Shaun White, there was a few events I tuned into. You saw Chloe Kim. She shredded it up on the half pipe. I know Shaun White locked down his third gold medal. I saw Lindsey Vonn brought in a bronze medal, which is impressive after the long list of injuries she's had. What caught your eye, Harry?
The Olympic curling team was surprised that they accidentally were given the women's gold medal, but they should have been surprised that 4 drinking buddies were given any medal at all. These are the 4 least Olympic-looking people I've ever seen in my whole life. They looked literally like they looked like 4 Andy Reids were watching curling 4 years ago and went, I could do that.
No doubt. I mean, the head captain, he definitely looked like Andy Reid's skinnier little brother. I would go as far as to call him Randy Reid, but that's just me. Ridiculous. I mean, another side note on that, I also saw that The Simpsons 4 years ago predicted that the U.S. curling team would win the gold medal against Sweden. Go figure. The Simpsons have made a habit for a long time of predicting outlandish things that will happen in the future, and nonetheless, it happened again.
Another thing they predicted was Trump being president, which is insane.
Yeah.
And I'd like, this now that this is a new podcast, I do like to talk a lot about sports, but we did kind of do the shut up and dribble. We talked about some other stuff. I want to do like a Trump quote of the week, because if, Jimmy Kimmel can make money off of making fun of Trump, then so can we.
No doubt. And I'm going to go to the Guardian News. There's a Trump quote from yesterday that, we all know about the tragic shooting that happened in Parkland, Florida. Trump was quoted saying this.
But I think I really believe I'd run in there even if I didn't have a weapon.
Give me a break, Donald. You would run in there if you didn't have a weapon?
This is the same guy that dodged the draft.
Yeah, he had flat feet and bone spurs in his feet. What a clown. The Twitter-in-chief. We could go on for hours about the embarrassment Trump's continued to bring to our country. In the same press conference, he went on to say Filipinos don't have a drug problem because they kill dealers, when in fact, in their country, there have been over 12,000 murders in this drug war that their President Rodrigo Duterte, I definitely butchered his name, but nonetheless,
I like how we tried to do a bit, and we were like, we're going to do a Trump quote of the day, but he does such ridiculous things that we had to pick 2.
He had to pick 2, and while we're at it, there was a clip I was hoping to play earlier. I have really no reason to play it now, but it's one of my favorite Jerry Jones quotes. I'm gonna play that for the people real quick.
Back this Jerry Jones and your Dallas Cowboy.
All right, I'm sorry. I just had to play that. We forgot to play it earlier. I thought we'd tune it in there, but I think that wraps up for what we're going to talk about in our first episode.
Way better with that college story, but it's gold here.
Yeah, no doubt. Jerry Jones, Trump, they're similar figures, businessmen, clowns, nonetheless. But I think that wraps up what we got here for our first week of the 2 left fielders. You can catch us twice a week, tuning in from the outfield. Come join us for a cold one and get an outlandish opinion.
Absolutely, and you can find the podcast on Apple. We're trying to put it on Apple Podcasts, but of course, as always, you can follow us on Twitter. That's at 2 Left Fielders, and I'm going to leave you guys with this.
George Bush doesn't care about